turns.
And with that, we're actually going to go take a break.
Oh, okay.
We are at break. So, everybody, if you guys want to open up your mics and ask any questions of anybody, but we're going to make sure our narrator has a chance to hydrate, gargle a little,
Muchas
and our
gracias.
So, if anybody has any questions or any feedback or anything you'd like to say to Jonathan, now's a good time. We've got about 10 minutes.
I would just like to say this is an outstanding script, and it's got so much depth and so much heart, and all of the actors, you guys are doing such an amazing job. So thank you for doing this, because I run a lot of table reads. I don't know if you know that, but it's so nice just to sit back and enjoy a table read for a change. So thank you, all of you.
Totally agree with Janet. This is awesome, and all you actors are killing it. It's great.
Thanks for coming to watch.
I'm so glad I came to watch this, Jonathan. It's awesome.
Thanks, Trish. Appreciate that. Thank you all. Yeah, the cast is killing it.
It's just starting to.
Madly in love with Mama.
Yes,
Same,
Mama.
same.
Madly.
Totally agree. I want her to be my mama.
You're going to get your hand slapped a lot.
I'm going to tell Jonathan.
No, you
I
don't.
probably would deserve it. So
Thank you very much.
I too am going to actually take a refreshment.
I'm
break,
a
so
little
gonna-
bit in love with Kyoki too.
He's a gentleman.
He's just adorable. I love him a lot.
Oh, shucks.
This is my first time listening to a table read, and I can fully visualize it. This is amazing. I'm Chaya's mom.
Thanks, Mom, for being here.
I can't wait till this gets made. This is fantastic. Good job, Jonathan.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you. And Taya's mom, I'm sorry for putting her in this role, but she's doing a great job. I know you raised her better than that.
Mom, your video is on. They can see where you're laying down. Sorry, guys. She's in a hotel with my dad, but
let Mom rest.
I'll mute it.
That's cute.
I think Kai Kai is the ultimate little brother.
Yeah. He's a loving little brother too, because he'll tease me constantly, but he actually cares and wants to help out.
Austin is just awesome in that role. He really is.
We've been so
You-
lucky to work with
just
each
the
other
Hufflepuff.
and GP for like, it's just, and Jonathan, we've been really lucky. Like this cast wouldn't be here without them. Like all of us have had such a good time on this. So thank you all for coming. I mean, I'm really excited for you guys to see the rest of it too.
And
When did the aliens show up?
I particularly like your background there, Taylor.
Thank you. It felt very Hawaii. Felt appropriate for today.
I felt like I should put one on, but I didn't.
But yeah. Ooh.
Okay, well, it's like 8:20 in the morning and I'm heading for my second cup of tea.
Is it builder's tea?
What's builder's tea?
You know, when you take like 2 or 3 tea bags and you steep them for 10 minutes or just never take them out. You know, like what builders
Oh,
drink.
no, not me. No, I'm having this really nice, it's this really nice French Earl Grey from this posh shop, because that's what I have in the morning, because it's pretty. It smells pretty.
No, it sounds like I'm sorry. I just really would like to have some, but it's too late in the day for me to drink any caffeine. It sounds delightful.
What time is it where you guys?
It's 3 in the afternoon where I am.
Yeah, 3:23.
And
That's too late to drink tea.
Yeah, we're still noon, 12:23 here in Hawaii.
Ah, lovely.
I've had all.
Jonathan, I have a question for you. I was wondering, as you were sitting there listening to everything going on, what were your thoughts as you were sitting there listening to your words come back to you?
It's a trip, right? Because I've got all the many voices in my head, which I have a lot of voices in my head. But it's so cool to hear the different cadence, the different tone that comes to the words that I've envisioned a certain way. And like I was saying to the cast on a couple of our rehearsals, like it's cool to hear the different ways and how it's so much better than I even envisioned it. It's pretty cool. It's yeah, it's weird. It's weird hearing it though, like out of my head.
A little bit surreal.
Yeah, it is, but I love it. I mean, it's so cool because I've tried to kind of close my eyes and just kind of watch it in my head since I have so much visually in my head, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, and finding the right actors to just take the voices, but really bring that embodiment. That was what I was looking for, and I've just been thrilled with everybody. So, sometimes you're just going on gut instinct, but there were just little traits I could see from people who provided clips and little things that I was like, I think I've got the germ of what I'm looking for in them. And they have all proven to me above and beyond what I could have hoped for. So I'm just grateful and thankful for all of you.
Great job on the casting.
Yeah, GP brought together a great cast. Mama, Mama Kathy Collins, she's been Mama on the short film that was kind of based off of this script, and I had asked GP to make sure that we got her in, so that was kind of cool. And then Kava and Josh, a couple guys out there. You guys both at Wahoo, right? Yeah. So it's kind of nice to get some more local guys in there as well, and it's just cool. Everybody's bringing some really great insight to all the roles. And I gotta say, GP, when she reached out to me, it was cool to hear the connection that she had that was so similar to the connection that I had going to the story. I kind of mentioned that before, but you put words on a page and you never know if it's going to reach people in the same way. So really cool.
Yeah, the mission of this workshop is really to give a place, to set a table for creators of color, creators with disabilities, creators who are LGBTQIA, and also a home for their stories where they can see that somebody will passionately and completely devote themselves to making sure that the cast is diverse and to bringing real actors who connect with the culture and community, so that there's no whitewashing in this place. In fact, I kind of joked at Jonathan that part of his disability was he was white, but I'm willing to forego that because he had so many other people vouch for the truth. And I could actually feel the authenticity because of my own connections, not particularly with the Polynesian community, but disadvantaged communities in New York City and California. So for me, it was just something I just felt I really do have to, because it's critical. All right, our narrator is back. He is rested, refreshed, glorious, tanned, and okay, close enough. And I'm going to go on ahead and we are going to start once again. So I'm going to turn this back over to Brian Cutter, and on we go. And can we get an amazing hand for Brian Cutter for it? That is a difficult narration because Lord knows I do a lot of them.
That was a beast.
Hey, Brian, excellent job, Brian. Excellent job, everybody.
Awesome job, everybody. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Mom.
I feel like I saw a movie.
Thank you.
That's what I feel like. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this is not exactly a light comedy, but I feel it just gives you everything that you want from a story, which is why
I was just going to say, I'm actually kind of glad my voice was going out because it disguised me choking up at the end.
I am so glad.
Sorry, I want to say I agree with Nima, Chaya's mom, that like I feel like every time we've read the script, it's the visuals are so crisp in my mind that, you know, I all I can say is that it really feels like I've watched a film, you know, or that I've acted in a film. Like it's so clear in my mind.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I see everything that was written in there.
Yeah, I've never been to Hawaii, but I felt like I have now. Not a very nice part of Hawaii, but you know, the visuals are extremely strong here. Excellent job. Amazing script, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jen. Appreciate that.
Hi, this is Austin's mom.
Uh-oh.
They,
Oh
were
dear.
right about the tissue box.
Austin's in trouble.
Uh-oh.
You were so right about the tissue box. I was so vested in the characters. It was amazing. It was a great script. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Austin did a great
Thanks, Mom.
job. I'm not just saying that because you're here.
This was just a triumph for all of you, for every single one of you. Well done, Jonathan, and well done to all of you.
It's to Jonathan, I just want to say there's a way that I usually categorize a piece of good writing, and it's in my mind. If I find myself thinking about it, like randomly thinking about it for a few days after I've read it, or a couple of weeks, it just keeps kind of floating back up to my mind. That's how I know it was a good piece. And this is one that keeps doing that. It keeps bubbling back up into the forefront of my mind, remembering moments of it. I do really hope this gets made into a movie. I will, after we get offline here, please contact me and I'll try to put you in touch with some folks who might be able to make it happen. I can't make any guarantees, but I can try to make some connections.
Hey, every little bit helps, Ethan. I really appreciate that. And yeah, that's kind of the stage I'm at right now, is trying to figure out a way to get it off the ground. Kathy is out here with me on Maui, and she and I have been talking about how it's going to happen. So I'd love any input and efforts, you know, even if they're just words of support. So anything is great.
Yeah, let's talk after this. I think next steps for you is build a package. So pitch deck, breakdown budget and schedule, and you know, get an idea as to how much it's going to cost to make films or make the movie. Just be advised that, you know, most productions right now are still dealing with squeezed budgets, and it's going to be rough trying to make anything like $4 million and over, unless you're a studio. And that's,
I appreciate it. I definitely love to get your input on that. Just because I know how the market is right now, all things considered. I don't know a movie like this would be super profitable if it was shot for more than about 200, 250. And I'm trying to figure out a way if I can actually shoot it for less than that. But I'd love to talk and just get any input you have.
Sure. Yeah, by all means. You've got my contact information. If my phone number is not on there, just send me an email and I'll make sure you get it.
Gotcha, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Jonathan,
Right,
is it okay? Is it okay if I share the script with a producer friend of mine?
I'd love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Wouldn't
And,
do it without permission.
with that, if there's any other questions for cast or writer, please go right on ahead.
Oh, I have a question. Brianna, how many wardrobe changes do you have?
Yeah. I noticed that too.
I was just texting, hi everybody. I was just texting Rob, thank you for being as extra as I was with the costume changes and stuff, because we did have the smaller roles, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. So I had four characters, 4 costumes.
With the
I don't
cap and
half-ass anything, you know?
Brianna never does. We've worked together before and she's amazing. So like no doubt that it would happen.
I appreciate
Yeah, we had
it.
to be prepared, that's for sure.
I have a question. Was this table read recorded?
Yes, it is.
Ah, okay. So Jonathan, I might contact you about that with the producer that I have in mind if he's interested.
Yeah, great. GP, are you going to host this on the Rising Workshop?
I will send out a link to the final edited version of this, hopefully by tomorrow evening. I need time to, well, it needs to process and time to edit because I'm probably going to put the Q&A at the end.
Awesome. Very cool.
I would just like to comment on something. GP, as you said in the very beginning, the script speaks to, it's a universally relatable script, but also what I appreciate as a Maui girl, and I'm pretty sure that Kava and Josh, who are also in Hawaii, I'm pretty sure they'll agree that there are subtle parts of it that speak so loudly and strongly to island people. I know the issues and many of the character qualities are, like I say, universal. But Jonathan, you've done so well, despite your disability, of capturing a lot of what the local sensibilities are. The way that this found ohana has come together and bonded, and I just, wow, thank you. When Jonathan first sent me the script, and I don't know if anybody here has seen the 8-minute short that's actually like a prequel to Driftwood, but he's got it up
Mama's Bench.
Mama's Bench. Mama's Bench.
That was fabulous.
Yeah, well, that's the first thing he sent me, and I cried when I read it. And after
that's when I fell wildly in love with Mama.
Yeah, well, that's Jonathan, you know. Then he sent me Driftwood, and oh my gosh, yeah. So we got to get this made, and we will, right, Jonathan?
We will. We definitely will.
It's really beautiful.
I'm going to put the link for Mama's Bench right now in the chat for those who haven't seen it who'd like to. Let's see if I can do this here.
And I will add that link to the summation when I get everything edited and put together for those of you who want to watch the full thing. And you'll have 2 links. The actual performance, the Q&A will be cut out and set separate, and then also the link to Vimeo for the short.
GP, will you be sending that out in an email?
Yes, I will. It will go to those who have attended. So
fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'm going to touch on what Kathy said, because although the themes are universal and I recognize a lot of the situations, what I loved was the authenticity of the situation. Because, and also I am kind of opposed to what I view as poverty porn, where everybody is just really abusive. This was different. This discussed poverty, but this was a loving family.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Kyoki does not give in, nor does Kaikai. Kaikai is a joyful soul. Mama's a loving soul. Even Kanman with his flaws. These are flawed people, but they are not monsters. They are not bad. They do not inflict pain on the world around them. And that is the core that is always missing from me from movies that focus on trauma and pain and poverty. And it's something we need to get away from, because whole human beings, even in difficult circumstances, do not act like monsters. They are complex, they're loving, and there's found family, and found family is a beautiful thing. So,
yeah,
and I love that they don't walk away from each other really, ever. That they understand that their flaws impact each other negatively at times, but they have that pull of love that just binds them.
Even
that's so well said, and that's exactly what I strove to do here. Is and like I said earlier, is you know, a lot of homeless people have the same problems we have. We just got to shut a door and block it out from the rest of our neighbors. Their problems are exposed to us anytime we look, anytime we see them, and so you know, they're the same warts and all, right? So I I think it's our nature to look at homeless people and say the homeless problem, but it's really personal problems inside, and it's how they're dealing with it, the only way that they know how, or the only way they can a lot of times, and it's not even always our place to help them. It's it's something a lot of people have to work out on their own. In this case, Kiyoki, Justin, awesome job as Kiyoki. His only way of knowing how to deal with his own problem was through other people and not through himself.
I think what I love most about Kyoki is that, we see so many stories where a bad experience turns somebody away from their inner good. And Kyoki never loses his essential goodness.
Oh, somebody
I think that's what makes him so heroic.
Somebody asked me if the original ending changed on this. And yeah, I mean, it's been through a few drafts, but the ending. So I didn't. It's funny because it's obviously not an uplifting ending, but I really tried to create sort of a vision into Kiyoki's mind and his world outside of just the world that he's living in, and so the visions of the woman walking down the beach. Sort of those little images that Kiyoki sees, and then the woman walking with Mama back towards him as he's sitting with Taylor on the bench at the end. These are all the people that mean something to him, the people who have made an impact in his life. And so I didn't want to end it with him alone and with him sort of left, sort of excluded from the world that he connected with. And so I thought it was best to bring all of those positive lights in his life back to him.
Yeah, great choice.
Hey, Jonathan, I also forgot to tell you a while ago, I wanted to comment on the metaphor that you used with his bike tire pointing him in the direction that he needed to go each time. That was absolutely brilliant. Just a stunning piece of visual kind of foreshadowing, I guess.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that one, it's funny because that one came up inadvertently, like a lot of things do when you're writing is I think it was one of those first scenes where he was kind of at the park with the family and he looked over his bike and his bike was pointing back towards town. And so that's where he went. And then I kind of thought on that and I said, well, it's interesting that that bike is so much a part of him as well. And so it'd be really cool if that bike sort of directed him and is sort of his, it's sort of his conscious in a sense,
John, one thing I wanted to share that I thought was really cool about the way you wrote the story is when Taylor answers Kyoki's question about whether or not she's on her way, and she says she is, and it's like you get choked up once you know how the ending, if you've like watched it already, because she's actually telling the truth. She really is leaving, just not in the way that he thought. So that was very beautiful, man. Genius writing.
Appreciate that.
I'm still choked up over the ending, and we already finished it, but I'm still like over here, like affected by it.
Jonathan, how long did it take for you from when the idea struck you to write the thing to get it into this current form?
It was like 3 days. It's real fast.
Wait, you wrote this whole script in 3 days?
No. So, I mean, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. So actually the story of my friend who I lost track of, who disappeared in homelessness, his story has been kind of circling in my head for a long time. This is going back to just after high school. So we're talking 25 years ago. But I never really thought of approaching his story. And then just kind of give you a little insight of how this whole thing sort of evolved, and maybe eventually I'll get to a real answer for you. But the scene where Kai and Kiyoki first ride up to the park and Mama turns around and starts bitching them out. I witnessed that essentially kind of the same thing while I was writing another screenplay, waiting for my kids to get out of school. I was just sitting at a bench park and just writing some notes. And all of a sudden I see these two young homeless guys come up. They aren't related. they're obviously not connected, but they have a bond together. They roll up, and Mama, you know, in my head, Mama comes just out of nowhere almost and just starts bitching them out and starts chewing them out. And these guys responded to her. They respected her. They followed her guidance, and that's what started the story in my head. So that was probably about 8 years ago that moment happened, right? Then I wrote a couple other screenplays, and eventually one of the things I started looking at as a writer was, how can I write something, or what story can I write that I can realistically shoot on a small budget here in Hawaii and actually create films here in Hawaii, instead of trying to write these sort of tentpole big projects that are going to be millions of dollars to produce and all that. And so I started looking back at what was close to me and what was dear to me and what has always been sitting in my head. And kind of like you said, when you get a story and you can't not think of it sometimes, it was the same thing with this. This story kept popping up in my head and evolving. When I sat down to put pen to paper and punch it out, the first draft was about a month and a half, probably the first draft was done. And then, several drafts over the next 2 years. So I think the first draft I had complete in 2019.
Cool. Thanks.
Long answer, sorry.
No, I mean, process is long, so it helps provide context.
And all of those stories, Jonathan, are woven in. Like each one of us, you could see each one of us feeling the story, feeling the character, living with them, and those moments spoke through us. Because it was, when you say words sometimes as an actor, it's really hard when you don't connect. But that wasn't a problem. Like it just flowed out, all of us, like watching everybody. It was beautiful to see that. And so the story and the time, the prep, it paid off, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I think that was a lot.
So that's what you were doing in the Zoom room.
Yeah, that was one of them. That was one of what I was working on. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think, thank you for that. And I also think a lot of it is all of you who the whole cast who you guys brought it in the rehearsals, you brought it today, and I can see you all sort of feeding off of each other and working off each other. That was really cool.
Jonathan, if I might, I was actually houseless for 18 months back in 2014. So I know Mama, I know Kioki, I know Canman, and I just want to thank you for shedding a light on this story that people often overlook. So thank you, Jonathan.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you sharing that. And from a place of honesty and a place of specificity, if you have any notes, don't hesitate to tell me, please. If there's anything that I was off the mark on, if there's anything that doesn't ring true, not specifically to your experience necessarily, but to what you know, I want this to represent the unsheltered world as well as I can, and I don't want to create a plastic version of it. So
you did a great job. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, GP, for believing in me.
John,
What?
Jonathan, if you don't mind me sharing this, Jonathan's already taken some steps to really get into the Maui houseless community through some social services people that we know, and with an eye toward really refining the script and the characters, and I just think that's wonderful, Jonathan. Bravo.
The work shows. The work you've done really shows.
And also, GP, thank you so much for giving us such really clear and precise direction the entire time. I really feel like that brought up everybody's confidence levels. And I personally, want to follow Mr. Kava and say thank you for giving me a chance to believe in us. Appreciate it.
You guys just knocked everything out the park, and I told y'all to, anything you didn't bring during the rehearsal, unleash it, and you all did it. I am over the moon thrilled with every single last one of you, except Brian. He's still here. Maybe Brian.
Awkward.
Brian, I need your address, by the way, so I can send you some lozenges.
He even had cough drops today. Yeah, there.
Good. All right. I'm going to
I don't
ask
play.
if there's any more questions, anything else for any of our artists or our writer.
I just want to say thanks, everyone. Everyone did great. And John for writing a great script, GP for bringing us all in and everything, Chaya for being so easy to flirt with in the scenes. That was great. Didn't make it awkward at all until just now. Thanks everyone else.
I'd like to thank Georgia very much for
He's
inviting
still
me to be a
cute
part of
as
this.
Kyoki.
He never laughed. No, this was fun. All of us. It was, yeah, you made it easy, Justin. It was great playing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
and I-
Thank you, everyone. Sorry,
Austin, best little brother.
Hey,
Well,
so
I'm
thank-
gonna wrap up everybody then, and I'm going to thank Justin. I'm gonna thank Austin. Thank you, Chaya. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, Kava. Thank you, Josh. Triple thank you, Kathy and Brianna. Thank you, Rob. Just thank all of you, and definitely thank you, Brian. You all rocked it, and I know that our audience just had the full blast of what this script can be, and it's due to you. So you have my
And also,
heartfelt thanks.
and thank you, Jonathan, for writing such a beautiful story.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
hey, more than any of that, thank you, GP. Thank you for creating this venue so that you know, I can share the words so that, you know, this cast can get a chance to play and how, you know, and try to you know, share their craft as well. I hope, you know, that this story sheds light on you know, the cast here. I hope it also sheds light on what you're doing with Rising Workshop, because I think it's a great project, and I'm really looking forward to more of the scripts that you bring forward.
Okay. Well, thanks all for attending, and sayonara, aloha to everyone.
Thank you.
Aloha. Thanks,
Aloha.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.